Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. This is powered by Top Producers Nation as well. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for real producers, by real producers, and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers, such as our guest today. We get to hang out today with Mr. Bryan Coward. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, Don.
Yeah,
nice
no doubt. It's
see
great
ya.
to have you here. Those of you who might not know Bryan yet, you're going to be seeing him coming up in our month of June. We actually just recently interviewed Bryan as a feature, an upcoming feature in our June 2024 issue of Tampa Bay Real Producers. So we'll be doing that spotlight here shortly. We did things a little bit out of order. Normally we have you come in after your magazine article runs. You're in before the magazine article runs, so that works out well. We get to kind of get a preview of what you might read about Bryan in the magazine article as well. But Bryan, why don't we start a little bit with just your background and how you got yourself into Tampa, whether you grew up here or not, and eventually how you got interested in real estate.
Awesome, yeah. So my parents moved me down when I was a kid, and I actually didn't want to come to Florida at the time.
Okay. Moved from where?
From Philadelphia, just outside of Philadelphia, Northeast. And yeah, I mean, I was, I always had like...
How old were you, do you remember?
I was 13.
Okay.
And I was like a chubby little dorky kid, with big ears and a big nose that I just recently grew into, And you know what I mean? I was just getting popular, and I had this girlfriend,
Oh, man.
And
What a time to leave.
Yeah. It was brutal.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Florida.
Then you had to start all over again down here, huh?
Yeah, and it was harder.
So why did they move down? Work, business?
Yeah, my dad changed careers. He became a rep for New York Life.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting time for sure. He passed suddenly 8 months after we got here of a massive heart attack at 44.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was crazy. And so it was just hard on our whole family. But
was it just you and your mom and dad? Were you the only child?
No, I had a brother and sister. But funny enough, my sister lives in Manhattan and my brother lives in Vegas. So I'm the only one that stayed here. Huh. And I do love Tampa Bay. I mean, and I've seen it grow so much. Just staring here at West Shore and the shopping plaza. Just so much changes.
Yeah.
It's really been a lot of fun.
Definitely boomed over the years, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it continues to grow as we know. So when did you grow up? So you moved here?
Moved here in 88. I went to
okay.
Gaither High School. I took a long gap year. It took a long time to figure out to get to college. I got to college by the age of 25. Didn't graduate until early 30s. I got a degree.
Where'd you go to school?
USF. I got a degree, 4-year degree in communication, and I studied TV production. I wanted to be a filmmaker.
All right. Yeah, we were talking off camera because you have a background in like video production and stuff, right?
Yeah, Rob's doing an awesome job. It's a cool setup.
He is. Shout out to my man over there, Rob Cock. Impressive perspectives, baby.
Impressive perspectives.
And so that was what you did when you graduated? Did you go right into production?
Yeah, so I had this internship at Channel 10 at the daytime show, and I thought I had impressed everyone, and I was this great kid, or a young man, I should say. I wasn't a kid. And, and I was like, what do I got to do to get a job here? I thought that was the point of the internship.
Yeah.
And they're like, Bryan, we're firing. We're not hiring. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I wasting my time for?
Uh-huh.
So, I had a friend who at the time told me, he said, Bryan, you'll never truly be happy until you are your own boss.
Sure.
And I was like, man,
good
that
advice.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And he was right. Mm-hmm. So we, I was actually, in college, I got a job at a mortgage broker's office, cold calling for the mortgage brokers, and I said to the owner, I said, I can do a better job than these guys. And he goes, well, then get your license.
Right.
So I did, and then the crash happened, and I just wasn't.
So you did get licensed as an LO, huh?
Yeah, so I was an LO in like 07.
Okay.
Maybe the end of 06, 07, and then when the crash happened.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. And I bought a house too.
Yeah, perfect timing. That's great. So you didn't have any real experience in real estate necessarily at the time. Okay. No. And then when you left the LO side, did you go back into video production?
So at the time I was just graduating, and I said, I had started shooting some weddings kind of on the side as a hobby, and I made that my full-time gig. We started our company, and we started focused on weddings, and then we got really good at it, and we were flown all over the world, and
nice.
Yeah, we did a good job. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we started realizing there's a lot of work, and we tried to segue more into the commercial world, and did a lot of stuff for the Blue Jays and for the Lightning, and we had a lot of fun with it, but just got to a point where like you, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and realized, man, I'm kind of been financially illiterate, I'm spending all this money that I, to run this business. And I was like, man, I want to work smarter, not harder. And then I read Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate or Millionaire Real Estate Investor. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become an investor. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, geez, I don't know anything about real estate. And I don't have any money. So I read Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a millionaire real estate agent, and then I'm going to buy properties.
Nice.
And so, yeah.
So that's still the plan you're following, huh?
That's the plan I'm following, yeah. I got halfway there.
You had your production business for about a decade?
Yeah, a little over a decade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you sell it or just shut it down? Or?
Yeah, I wasn't smart enough to sell it, I guess.
So it just shut down.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you had a business partner in it?
Well, my wife, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
good partner to have.
Yeah, she's amazing.
The permanent partner.
Yeah, she's amazing. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I can tell you that.
That's
cool. She is truly.
We'll have to throw a little shout out to her for sure.
Tracy Coward is an amazing woman.
Does she work in real estate with you?
She did get her license. She is a licensed jazzercise instructor, and that's really where her focus is. But
nice.
I'm
You're married to a jazzercise instructor. Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, she's
stays flexible.
She's pretty badass. Yeah.
So we went from this production career, right, that you had, and then you started getting interested in the investment side. It seems like, right, for real estate, and then you decide, all right, I'm going to get this license because it sounds like it's the path to maybe learn about real estate and then invest eventually in real estate. I think you told me off camera that you got licensed around 2019. Is that right?
And at very end of 2018, but 2019 was my first month at KW.
Okay. And so what was that first year like for you when you first got licensed? Was it very challenging to kind of, I know you already ran a business, so you learned what it was like to kind of build revenue.
Yeah.
But what was that year like for you in terms of getting off to a fast start?
Yeah, it was slow. Mm-hmm. It was slow. But with a cold calling background, so when I got into that mortgage office, I had a cold calling background when I was a kid. I did some telemarketing, and so I wasn't scared of the phones. And my father actually, he was a scrap broker, and he bought and sold scrap over the phone. So I don't know if it's in my genes of just being a talker and being on the phones, but I realized that I could call. I realized I could call cancels and expireds, because these were people that had their hand up saying I was willing to sell my home. Something happened, and I'm no longer listed on the market. Yep. So
that was kind of a strategy that you dove into initially.
Yeah, because I didn't want to talk to my database and say, "Hey guys, I know you trusted me as your wedding videographer, but now I want you to trust me in your real estate." And so I just had
you were hesitant to
disconnect. Yeah, there.
Did you ever tap into that warm market?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's
you just had to build that confidence first.
Yeah, that's my focus now. I mean, I use the cancels and expireds as a pillar of lead generation or as a revenue, as a lead
that
source.
Became like the bridge to be able to get you there. So I'm assuming you had to kind of, how did the element of having to overcome the rejection, was that easy for you?
Oh yeah, I'm good at that.
You're good at that.
Yeah, I like that.
Because not everybody is.
Yeah.
So if you were to tell a lot of new agents, all right, the first thing you're going to do is just sit in front of the phone and call a list of canceled and expireds. Yeah. They're going to have a hard time. Some of them are going to have a hard time with that.
Most people do.
Right.
Most people do. I mean, in my office, they seem to know me as a lead generation guy, because in that book, Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he talks about time blocking and protecting that lead gen time. So I don't know if it's because I have a Jewish mom. I mean, I have a guilt trip thing, and if I'm not doing what I should be doing, which i.e. is lead generating in the morning, I just feel inherently guilty.
Is that still one of your favorite ways to lead gen?
I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, it's not my favorite way to lead gen.
But it's effective.
But it's a way to lead gen.
Sure.
So yes, there's other ways that I prefer much more. Who wouldn't rather the phone ring?
Of course.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so over the years now, since you've been licensed for, I guess you're coming up on about 6 years now, 6 years. So you've built this business going from all outbound calls initially to now I'm assuming you have a mixture of more inbound?
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, I'm not having a lot of inbound calls yet. I have built a sphere and a network by which I market to systematically in ways in which consistently produce results. maybe not all the results I want when I want, but they just,
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is that in real estate, it seems like there's a bit of a roller coaster. And what's the answer to kind of get that sort of guaranteed trajectory?
And the answer is probably lead gen, right?
Yeah.
But having it be consistent. And,
Yeah.
and in order to do that, I think there's about having different ways to lead gen, right?
Yeah.
Different strategies coming in so that when one's hitting and the other one's not, you can balance that out a little bit.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are some of your favorite like ways to kind of educate yourself, Bryan, on lead gen? Is there people that have helped you in that space? Do you do your own kind of research, so like your own reading about it? What works for you?
Yeah, it's just being like, so I love the Keller Williams ecosystem, and I love the sort of successful people that are in KW. So I go to family reunion and mega camp just about every year, and I learn from all these really successful. I mean, that's what I love about real estate in KW, especially, is that when I had my company, I felt like I was on, an island, so to speak, like
all by yourself.
Yeah. In video production too, like if you took a shot from someone else, they were like, "Oh, you're ripping off our shot," and I'm like, man, it was an influence, right? Where in real estate, R&D is almost like rip off and duplicate, right?
Yeah.
Like you just take it and make it your own. And I love that about it, where I don't have to be creative. I can just use what systems have worked for countless of other way more successful people than me, and just make it my own, and just use my personality and do what works for me. So that's been and having a coach has been a huge
factor there.
Yeah.
Is that a KW coach?
It's a MAPS coach, through
MAPS.
KW, yeah.
Right. Okay.
He's amazing.
Yep.
He's amazing. And then I hired my first assistant part-time last year. She's full-time. She's amazing. And like having her, like building a team, I have a virtual assistant, I have an assistant, me, and then when we're ready when we have all our systems in model procedures in place, then we can get the buyer's agent in and the team going.
Yeah, and to throw some things out there just for people to kind of see the frame of reference, I think you mentioned that you did about 16 million in volume a couple of years ago, right? That was your best year, 2022.
Yeah.
So you've been consistently producing in that like 15 million range, I guess you would say.
Well, that was
I think last year I saw it was run around there as well, wasn't it?
No, I dipped off last year. Last year was like a wake up call. Last year did not go.
Not just for you, for many people.
Last year did not go as well.
Yeah.
But this year, I mean, I really got a lot of things going, so we just had an exciting morning, so.
Close a deal already, huh?
Well, I'm going to put it under contract.
Nice.
Yeah, $1 million in West Chase
that
or
works.
Water Chase. Yeah, I'm very excited.
That sounds good. So you were saying before too, off camera, that you live in West Chase, right? I know you're part of the KW office, which is based out of Palm Harbor. But does most of your business focus in on the West Chase area, or is it all over Tampa Bay?
Well, when you're doing cancels and expireds, it's everywhere.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of buyers can't afford to buy where they want to. They got to go out a bit. So my business is all over. Yet I do focus on West Chase, so I've started a networking group in West Chase, the WBN, the West Chase Business Network, and I've tried to grow my market share in West Chase. It's a pretty small insular community, so getting in there is, people put a lot of work to get in there, and there's a lot of great agents.
How many members are in your WBN?
Right now we have about 150 online, but we have about 30 or 40 core members, that really, and there's a lot of business being shared, and people really seem to like it,
It's neat.
It's fun. It's not
And you started it, huh?
Yeah.
How long ago did that start?
We just celebrated a year. We just had our year anniversary. Yeah,
that's a great group, and only a year of being in existence.
Yeah.
And all different, do you just open it up to different businesses?
Yeah, so there's no seat specificity, whatever the word is. It's not seat specific. There's no cost. But we have a good time. We meet and, try to help each other out. There's a lot of business being conducted in there, so it's been good.
Do you have other agents in there?
No, that's my one rule.
No seat specificity, but I'm the only agent.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I am the only agent, yeah.
That's
in
great.
fact, I had an agent come in and I was like, what are you doing here? How did you slip through the tracks?
That's hilarious. But what I love about it is the fact that you kind of you identified what community you wanted to value as important, right, to you, which obviously being that you live there, it makes sense, right? West Chase is a great neighborhood, great community.
Yeah. You live there?
I don't live in, I did.
You did,
I lived
yeah.
there. Yeah, I
So
lived
you
there
know.
when we first came down. I know it well. You know, we lived right next to Publix there and the
Yeah.
Shires and all that. And so
Yeah.
I had a good friend who just sold a house there, actually.
Really? Who'd they use?
I don't know. It's a good question.
How do you not know?
They were in the Bridges.
Oh, I love the Bridges.
And then they bought up in on Ehrlich, off of Ehrlich
Oh,
Road, one
yeah.
of the communities up there.
Yeah.
But I think it was actually his wife, because she's like a hobby real estate agent.
yeah,
who just,
those
yeah,
kinds.
she's got she does a deal a year.
Yeah.
You know, her own house.
Yeah, they're not allowed in the WBN either.
No, they're not. They're not part of the WBN. That's for sure. But anyway, I think it's just neat that you took the initiative to try to like build a community to really brand yourself, I think, as a, you know, and I think it helps position yourself as an expert in that niche, right? And in
Right.
that community. And
Right.
as you know, the power of networking, a lot of business can flow when you have a group of people working together.
Yeah.
How often do you guys meet?
So we meet once a month, the fourth Thursday of every month at Raining Berries on Sheldon at Linebaugh at 8 a.m. And then we try to do like an offshoot meeting. Like this month, we're meeting at one of our members. It's the Fifth Third Bank in Largo. We're meeting at 6 p.m. for like a speed networking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Has this worked well for you in terms of the business? Has
Yeah.
it been a good connection?
Yeah, and and also too, it's something that I can add value to my database and to my farm and to my community, because I get to know a lot of business owners, new businesses, coupons, people. You know, like we have Ashton Gardens, which is the independent living or senior center, things like that. So I can kind of add value to people that use me, my clients.
That's very cool. The inbound calls you were talking about earlier, does some of that come from this community?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, let's face it, right? Like, I mean, people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Totally.
You know, and so it's much easier to have a referral into a, from a friend than, or someone saying, like, I want to be that, like, for example, I have an HVAC guy that I love, my air conditioning guy. And I'm like, no, you got to call Brian. His name's Brian too. I'm like, you got with an I. I'm like, you got to call Brian. And I want to be that guy for real estate. Like,
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why people join things like BNI and other organizations, NPI, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Obviously, we even have a community here, right, with Tampa Bay Rural Producers and all of our partners and so forth. And so there's power in the collaboration. There's power
100%.
in the group. So it does make a lot of sense. And it's kind of neat how you don't, like, I know some people have some opinions about things like BNI because they can be fairly strict in some people's eyes.
Yeah.
With not only the cost structure, even though it's not like it's that much money, but just some of the specifics that they require. Right. It sounds like you have a little bit more of a casual group there that can come and go and support each other in the way that they see fit. Right.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's cool. It's neat that you've been able to build that up. In your experience so far, Brian, with your career, like, what do you think has been maybe one or two specific challenges that you feel like you didn't even expect when you were getting into real estate, coming from this other business that you had? Did anything surprise you as you've built your business, or have you just kind of dealt with it in stride?
Anything surprised me?
Yeah, or a challenge. Has there been a challenge that you feel like, or what is the biggest challenge?
I mean, I think the biggest challenge is me, right? Like,
getting out of your own way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest challenge. It's like, no one beats me up more than I beat myself up, and it's like, God, just get out of my own head and just,
What gets you excited now when you think about where you want the business to go?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, Gary Keller's values are God, family, and then business, right? And I was really attracted to that about the core values of KW. My wife always jokes I have it the other way around, right? So I love business.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. And so it's exciting for me, and getting a transaction is exciting. And I guess the biggest thing for me is learning how to be understanding that this is a relational business, and that every conversation doesn't always end in the outcome that I want.
Right. In an immediate transaction.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, so it's the growing into the fact that, everything I do, even when I drive, it can affect the way people view me. And so it's always like presenting that, being authentically me, but yet not being a jerk and doing the right thing.
Or if you are a jerk to some people, I mean, that's just the way it is, right? Some people you're gonna rub the wrong way,
like
right?
My wife got mad at me. I was in a pickleball tournament, and we were getting our butt handed to us, and
we're not regulated by the FTC.
Okay.
I think you can say, yeah.
Okay, well, I was seriously frustrated. I'm very competitive, and these guys, and there was a couple standing and I I got mad because I blamed them for being in my way. Were they in my way? I don't know, but
right. At that moment, it felt like it.
Yeah, they sure were.
I get you. I just played pickleball actually for the first time. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's freaking great, isn't it?
Yeah, I grew up, there was a tennis court by where I grew up, and so as a kid, I would play tennis sometimes, and so I at least got the understandings of that, the swing down and all that kind of stuff, but I was never really great at it. But it's been so many years since I actually played like either tennis or on a court like that.
Yeah.
And then a buddy of mine who is the same guy actually that used to live in West Chase who
now
really? Moved. But,
how interesting.
That's
West Chase.
He's been playing, I guess. So he invited me to join, and boy, did I wipe the floor with him, man. I beat him 3 straight times. Boom, boom, boom.
Good.
I was all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Learning the rules is fun.
It was, yeah. Which I don't think I was cheating, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about the kitchen?
What about it?
Well, you get kind of nervous getting that's so close. And
I just view it as charging the net, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of the way you rule it in tennis. You just if the angle's there, you charge the net, try to take the angle away, and you're golden.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to play again. We played 3 games, me against him, and then we did partner up and played these other 2 guys that came over and challenged us. And like you said, they wiped the floor of us.
Yeah.
They beat us easily.
So I've only played doubles.
Yeah.
That's the only way I know how to play. And
doubles was harder for me.
Really?
It was.
Yeah.
I liked the freedom of having the whole court where I can just do my angles. The doubles thing was like, is that my ball? Is that his ball? It got me thinking more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it as much.
Okay.
I mean, I could learn it, and I think it probably would be more fun if you actually were good with your partner.
Yeah.
But that was something that we weren't really experiencing that angle yet. Yeah.
Well, there's Tampa Bay Pickleball. That's where I played this tournament. They just turned a year old. They're right in Oldsmar, so it's like what do you call that? The flea market, right behind the flea market there.
Okay. Yep.
Pretty cool indoor.
Sounds good. Yeah, we played outside. It was just some park off of Dale Mabry or something somewhere. So we talked a little bit about the thought of being in your own head and the challenges that come from just always having to make sure that the next paycheck is coming somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Through the leads that you're building and the business that you're building. What do you think? And you might have mentioned this a little bit with the collaboration effect of KW, but what do you think is the most fulfilling part of building your business and having the business that you have today?
I think the most fulfilling part is to be able to, realize that I'm in what I believe to be the best business in the world. Everyone needs a home. I went through some challenges when I was younger, when my father died, and wasn't really affluent, I guess, for lack of a better term. Sure. I just struggled quite a bit, even just with basic necessities. And so the idea that I'm now a real estate investor, I'm now a landlord, I'm a business owner, I have employees, I'm growing something that has meaning and will leave a legacy. I give back. I'm a big brother. I donate every closing to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Building that sort of like community as well, and having something that I think is truly meaningful because, let's face it, some of these situations are difficult. They're divorced, they're, they're embarrassed about their home, they're behind,
or
whatever.
Probate situation or You deal with all kinds of situations that you have to be sensitive to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, I'm good at that because I've been there, things weren't handed to me. I didn't,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have an intent of wanting to build up the investment portfolio, and you mentioned a minute ago that you also have some rentals and stuff now. So we've had a couple of investors here as well on the show. We had a guy on just long ago. His name's Morgan, 26-year-old kid, St. Petersburg, who's buying multifamily property.
Wow.
I think he has 50-something units right now.
Yeah.
We had him on the show a couple weeks ago. So what is your focus on that investment front? Are you buying single family homes and renting them long term or?
That's my goal. I mean, so I turned my last house into my first rental, which I think is the easiest thing to do.
Yep.
So I would love to do that again with my current house.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was thinking we just went to, so I've been to Austin now twice. That's where KW is headquartered for Mega Camp. And most recently, the eclipse occurred, and my wife and I in 2017 drove up to South Carolina to see the eclipse, and that was a truly magical experience. And so we knew going into 2024 that we were going to go see this eclipse. So I already last year bought tickets for the hotel and everything.
Nice.
And so we went to Austin, and then I really even fell more in love with Austin. And I was like, I could see myself living here. And I thought, well, maybe so I got ahead of myself and started thinking about buying an investment property there. But
if you need a good real estate agent there, I know a few people. One of my good buddies lives in Austin, and he was supposed to fly. He's a graduate from UConn. I have been, a couple times. And I went to the UConn championship game in April for the national title game. And he was supposed to fly out to meet me, but he didn't because of the eclipse. So he wanted to stay in Austin and see
it was awesome.
The eclipse coming. So you were in Austin for that as well?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, his name's Dave Shapiro. He actually is a pretty successful agent there. He was featured by real producers in the Austin market.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And he also is an investor, too. He has, I think, maybe 8 to 10 units or something like that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. It is a beautiful city, and it's emerging. A lot of new Silicon Valley of the South, right?
Yeah, it is crazy how much it's growing. I mean, like every year I go, it's more cranes, more buildings. Yeah. So
you still see yourself maybe getting a place out there someday?
I would love to. Yeah, my wife wants to be in San Diego. I'd love to be in. There's so many places I'd like. I would just love to be in a position where I could have properties wherever I want to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good strategy to have. For people who don't know you that way on the personal side, you mentioned obviously you're married to your wife Teresa. Is that her name? Tracy. Sorry. And do you have kids?
No kids, but she just rescued a 14-year-old 6-pound Chiweenie.
Okay, so that's your kid for now.
Yeah, he's awesome. His name's Henry. He's awesome. I never heard of a Chiweenie. It's a Dachshund and a Chihuahua mix.
Nice. Yeah, which is interesting because my dog is a Chihuahua Pug Dachshund mix.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
What do they call that?
I don't know what he's called. A mutt is all I really have known. But he's got the pug tail and like a longer kind of dachshund body with the dachshund nose. But he's got the Chihuahua face? Got the Chihuahua face for sure, and he has a little bit of a Chihuahua attitude.
Oh yeah,
he can bark. He can definitely bark.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's our little guy, Chase. Yeah. So that's an interesting mix for sure. So do you guys want kids?
Well, I think we're kind of past that point now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might more dogs maybe into the crew.
Yeah, she always wants to get dogs. I think we have 2 now, and we're fine.
What do you guys like to do for fun? Travel?
Yeah, traveling is my most favorite thing to do in the world. Yeah, and I've just rediscovered cruising. So there's a WBN member, Scott Rother, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, of Cruise Planners, and met him. And so he hooked me up and saved my butt.
Nice.
On a cruise my longest cruise. It was my 50th birthday. It was in February. We planned, an Eastern Caribbean cruise with Celebrity we left out of Fort Lauderdale. And I thought, well, this is no problem. I'm a Floridian, no problem getting down there. And Tracy says, oh, we were leaving too late. I said, we're fine, and I talked to Siri and I tell her where where we're going. And it takes us to Miami's port, not Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, no.
And I didn't add 2 + 2 while I'm driving. I was stressing out.
Right.
We missed the cruise.
Oh, no.
So thankfully we had Scott, and he said, well, here are your options. One, the insurance is going to cover it. So you have either maybe get some sort of partial credit back, or you board at the next port of call, which would be Roatan, Honduras. You'll need to fly to Miami tomorrow and then board on day 2 or day 3.
Is that what you did?
That's what we did.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
You caught up.
Yeah, we caught up.
Couldn't helipad into the boat?
No.
Make a real entrance?
No. But so when you're leaving the ship, you have to be the first to disembark.
Yeah.
They have to close the loop. And we had to meet in this restaurant downstairs at a certain time early in that morning. And when we got there was another couple there, and they had forgot their passports out of Virginia. And they didn't get to embark until day 3 or 4. And I'm like, those schmucks. Like, how in the world do you do that? Just joking. But
not judgmental at all, right?
But, it's just so funny to see how we're not the only ones. And it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I used to have a cruise planner client of mine for when I had the Snell Isle and Tierra Verde franchise. So, yeah, I'm familiar with the brand and the services that they offer.
Yeah. He saved our butt.
Yeah, it's neat to have that connection.
Because at that moment, I thought, everything's over. We're done. This is it. I have to go home with my tail between my legs. I completely screwed up.
So cruising has become your
that's
your go-to now.
Well, I think this is this is a really nice way to live.
It is. Cruising it's been a few years since we've done it, but we actually haven't done it since we've had the kids.
Yeah.
But Royal Caribbean, we've done a couple different Royal Caribbean cruises.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the food's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So celebrity, I guess, is their older brother or uncle or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like.
I do want to take one of those Viking cruises.
Yes.
Have you done that?
No, but I definitely.
It looks
and Virgin.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sweet. I want that was European Viking cruises through like Germany and stuff.
Through the Norwegian Fords.
Yes. That seems like it would be fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little Elsa Anna thing through the Norwegian Forest. Yeah, you're good there.
I'm with you there. Yeah. Maybe we could do a real producers event.
Yeah, maybe we should.
We'll
have to get some different
Lights.
sponsors, I think. We'll have to load that up.
Yeah, we'll get Viking.
That works too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your network probably has some options in that space.
Yeah,
I would think.
I'll help you out.
There we go.
Yeah.
A couple rapid fire questions for you, Bryan. Again,
Okay.
for people to get to know you more. So, you might have already mentioned it with your Keller Williams book, but do you have a favorite book or author, maybe seminar that you feel like has made a huge impact on you personally or professionally,
Favorite book or author or seminar that's made a huge impact on me personally?
or even a podcast, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, Bigger Pockets is what kind of got this whole thing started for me, and then finding the big Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So if you haven't read that yet, I mean, I kind of think if you're in real estate, you probably already read that yet. I mean, those things were really huge for me. Today, I just try to continuously grow and learn. So there's a lot of different books that I'm constantly reading, like, what is it? The Art of the
Art of Negotiation?
No, I'm thinking of it. What is it? Never Split the Difference. I'm reading now. That's really
Chris
good.
Voss.
Yeah,
great book.
Yeah,
I read it as well. He's an FBI hostage negotiator.
Yeah,
I mean,
like how fantastic!
If you're going to learn from somebody, that's the guy to learn from, right?
Yeah.
No, he has some great stuff in there. That's practical tips too that anybody can put to work.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's good. That's you haven't finished it yet, I take it.
No,
you're still working through.
Yeah,
it'll help, I think, with real estate too. There's so much just basic skills just in terms of your normal, listing presentations and stuff that I think would make sense. Do you have a favorite TV show or movie?
A favorite TV show? Well, what I'm watching right now that I'm really liking is Shogun.
I've heard good things.
On Hulu?
Yeah, I have not seen it, but I've heard.
It's very good. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's it? Is it about like the Shogun dynasty?
Yeah, so it's 1600 Japan, and it's about this English pirate who kind of lands in Japan, and then what he's going through, and he becomes like the hero, and yeah, it's really good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to add it to the list, man.
Yeah.
With all my free time.
Yeah. Yeah, you and your 5 kids.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of free
Tons
time.
of free time to watch Shogun.
Yeah.
So
I do love EDM. So
Okay.
that's a little known fact people probably don't know about me. So I have a 10-inch subwoofer in my Lexus SUV.
nice.
And
you are an EDM fan.
yeah,
huh?
well, I like to call it bass, but people call it EDM. So
Is that what gets you fired up before your listening meetings?
I mean, I'm always listening to it. So my wife doesn't like it, but I mean, so we just went and saw Peekaboo, who's a DJ, producer, EDM guy.
Okay.
At Janice Live, and now we have tickets to Hamdi May 24th at what is that? In Ybor City, the whatever it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we've talked about EDM yet on this podcast. You might be the first.
Yeah. Well,
you brought up something new.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I mean, I know. I mean, growing up in high school up in the Northeast, I'm from Connecticut originally, as we talked about a little bit. So, everybody goes to the EDM clubs up there.
Yeah, see,
New York City, it's totally different scene of it. Yeah, for
so
sure.
why do we stop listening to it? It's just,
I don't know.
It's evolved.
I don't know.
It's even better than it was back then.
I can't even remember the last time I have listened to it. To be honest,
let me send you some tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deal. Bet. If somebody, so here's a question I like to ask just in terms of, I call it the legacy question, right? When you are thinking back at some point on your career and your life and you're sitting on that rocking chair, what do you think you'd want to be most remembered for, Bryan? What do you think would be most important to you in terms of the legacy you'd want to leave?
I mean, I think ultimately as just, someone that people could count on and trust to know that I did what I said I was going to do. I did the very best that I could, and I provided them, with, value. So I guess it's really more about my character rather than, and let's face it. I mean, that's one thing I've always admired about my sister. Like she's always able to maintain these relationships she's had since like grade school, and I haven't been that guy, like, and I always admire that about other people. Like I admire that about my wife. Like she, is such a good listener, and at times, it can be hard to listen. Like you're thinking about yourself or your, what's happening in your life. And it's, so I think it's important, for me to learn more about balance and just, appreciating what it is that I have, because I mean, man, where I come from, this is we
got it made.
We got it made.
Yeah. Do you feel like what you went through with your dad, and I know we're going to be wrapping up, so maybe we could have more time to dive into this in more detail, but do you feel like when your father passed away, when he did, was that a moment where the character that it really instilled and formed a lot of the character that you feel like you have today? In terms of how you had to react to that?
Well, how I reacted was not good. That's so I went down a path that I, wouldn't suggest anyone go down, drinking and, just, so, that's where I think, I learned.
Well, that's all just out of pain, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously it was a painful experience.
Yeah.
So that's a natural, I think, reaction for a lot of people when they're in pain.
Yeah.
In that moment. But then, now that you seem removed from that, right, and you can take a look back, a lot of the lessons I would imagine. And I bring this up because my father also passed when I was 19.
Wow.
He had cancer. And so I'm an only child though. So I grew up, and I was going to school my sophomore year when he passed away. And then I withdrew from college. I wasn't at UT yet. I was up in Virginia at the time. And so I withdrew from college, went home to Connecticut, spent time with my mom during that year, really, when he passed.
How long did you know he was
I started going back to school my sophomore year, September. And then like 3 weeks after I went back my sophomore year, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
So he passed in December. So it was quick.
Wow.
A couple of months later. Yeah. So
That's
I did
crazy.
withdraw pretty much right away, came home. And I got a job at a local like Duracell battery factory, which was a mile away from like the rehab center that he was in, just so that I can like go see him.
Yeah.
Once I was done with my boring job, like that was the worst job I ever had. Just like sitting in front of a screen looking at battery inventory. Oh, it was not fun. So, but that made me realize too. Like, it's funny how everything I think happens in our life for a reason, right? So even just that little job, to me, helped me understand like I'm not a 9-to-5 person and I never will be happy doing that.
Yeah.
Right? So it was something I did for a few months just to have some money coming in while I was near him. But I was able to get off of work and go visit him most days.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a neat time too, so that we can really talk through
That's
a lot
awesome
of the
you had that.
baggage.
Yeah.
So and unfortunately, it sounds like yours was very sudden, right?
Yeah. And
Father passed.
I always played that game like with my mind, like, would I rather, had
Have
some
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
kind of a
tricky.
dumb game to play.
It is dumb because it's not like we have anything we can do about it, right? But I can understand why, we would think about it.
Yeah.
But I look back at that now, and I think him passing changed my life from a character perspective.
Yeah.
Because I was just like a immature kid focused on all the wrong things when that happened, right?
Yeah.
And then when he passed, it really forced me to become more mature pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then my whole life, I think, has changed because of that in certain ways. So I look at it as a blessing now.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. So it was
You're
different, from that perspective. But we all respond, in our own ways to when tragedy hits. And so it's crazy that it happened right after you guys moved down here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, I think, it's definitely a character builder for sure. Because
No doubt.
you become your, and for my mother's case, she didn't know how to deal with it. So she kind of locked herself in the room and started drinking.
Yeah.
My sister went off to college. It was a
lot of pain there.
Yeah, we didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And there was no parent.
I gotcha. Well, I feel like it's a weird thing to end the podcast on that note, but we're going to end the podcast anyway. And I think we talked about a lot today, though, Bryan, from a standpoint of how you got rolling. It's a couple things were unique about this conversation. One was your background in the video production side. So the fact that you had a whole other business and then decided that you were going to switch businesses entirely, right? Get involved in real estate. That's a unique path that nobody else I think I've talked to so far has taken, right? And then, of course, the fact that you dove right into the cancels and the expireds that you did as far as your strategy for pipeline generation and how that worked. And then I wrote down the concept of the West Chase Business Network, because I mean that WBN community that you've built has built pretty quickly in the last year, it
Yeah.
seems like, and
Yeah.
it's been a great resource for
Yeah.
you. So there's a lot there that I feel like anybody who listened to the podcast can maybe grab a nugget from to replicate what they would want to build, especially something like that WBN
Yeah.
in their own local community.
100%.
But if someone wanted to pick your brain, follow up with you about any of these different topics, or just get to know you a little bit more, what's the best way for someone to reach you?
Yeah, the best way, you can email me at Bryan with a Y at bryancoward.com. You can go to my website, bryancoward.com, make it pretty easy.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah,
Find you online.
Yeah.
That's where we're all at nowadays, right?
Yeah.
We'll make sure we have it, of course, on your description too, when we put up the description here in a few minutes. But we'll end the episode the way we always do, which is with a challenge to the audience. So as always, if you don't take action on the conversations or the tips that we talk about in these podcasts, then nothing really moves, right? And so we encourage you, whether you're watching live through the streaming or whether you're watching or listening to any of our podcast recordings. And by the way, if you don't already subscribe, click the button. That way you're notified every time a new episode hits. We do drop a new episode every Friday with the Tampa Bay Real Producers podcast. But what is one thing that you can take from this conversation today with Bryan that's going to propel you forward? Maybe you're somebody who might need to bite the bullet and call some of the expireds that he talked about in terms of how he built it and got started. You could be a newer agent who's struggling a little bit, and that might be a path for you to do well. Maybe you need to read one of the books that Bryan threw out there as another resource. Or you might be thinking about, you love the community concept that he's been building with the WBN, and maybe that inspires you to do something similar, right? In your own market or in your own way or your own community, because we all tend to feel empowered when we have a community, right, around us. And what is your community that you can build or be an integral part of? Maybe that might be your path, right, to be able to deliver. So what is one thing, though, that you can take from this conversation to move forward so that you can enhance your life personally, professionally? And if you do that, then the time that you invested in listening to this podcast will be worth it. Of course, we will see you on the next episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers podcast. We'll see you then. Bye.
Hi, everyone. My name is Janina Wozniak. I'm a realtor with Future Home Realty. I have been licensed since 2014. I work the greater Tampa Bay area. I am grateful to be a member of the Tampa Bay Real Producers. It is a fantastic opportunity, not only for myself, but it offers so many additional great things for my clients in terms of the people that we're affiliated with and the top businesses, from photography to title companies to mortgage people. It really is a whole community of top agents throughout the Tampa Bay area.